And may I now introduce our guests who are joining our seminar today. They are Mr. Per Augustsson, Consul General of Sweden, and Mr. Håkan Persson, Managing Director, SCA, and Mr. Tero Ahonen, Managing Director, Greencarrier, Mr. Mikan Hombali, Senior Sourcing Manager, Electrolux, Mr. Carlo Chan, Deputy General Manager, NWAC, and last but not least, Ms. Michelle Brice, Area Sales Manager, Poland. Welcome to our seminar, and I hope my pronunciation is correct in the Swedish name. Right? Brilliant. Right, okay. I'm very confident right now. Okay, as all of you may know, Sweden is a global leader in green solutions and green innovations in sectors or in terms of transportation, waste to energy solutions, as well as recycling. And I'm, for example, right now, today, I'm wearing a dress made by some sustainable materials from H&M. Is it beautiful? Maybe I'll come out a bit to show to you all. Yeah, just like a model today, wow. So the Consul General of Sweden, Mr. Per Augustsson, will tell us more about the story behind. Mr. Augustsson, please.
Thank you very much. Dagaiho.
Wow.
It's great to see everyone here. Yes, Akina, we are proud in Sweden of our achievements in the green area. In fact, Sweden was the first country already in 1967 to introduce legislation on environmental protection. And Sweden was also the country that organized in 1972 the first United Nations conference on the global environment. And we have been working hard on this subject ever since. We were recently ranked number 1 among all United Nations member states when it comes to performance in the sustainability area. So I think we have managed to show that it's possible to combine cutting down of emissions to save our climate. It's possible to combine that with economic growth. The second thing I would like to say is that the successes and the experiences that we have in Sweden when it comes to working on green solutions has very much to do with cooperation between the public sector and the private sector. In other words, cooperation between government and companies. We have been working like that for quite some time. And in fact, there is an agreement between the government and many, many Swedish companies that Sweden should be a fossil-free nation in the near future. And we think it's possible, and we are going for it. We would be the first country to achieve that. And industry has taken a lead in formulating specific plans for 22 different industry sectors in Sweden, 22 specific action plans for different parts of our industry. And this is a cooperation between the government and companies themselves have developed their own plans, so to say, in the respective sector. And this is an illustration also of the leadership that we see from our companies, actually. I mean, they are actually drivers of this transition that we are right now going through. They are looking at problems, and they're finding solutions to these problems, technical solutions, which is the way to go. And I think that, I'm sure that we're going to hear more about these specific solutions in a moment. But that is the Swedish experience, cooperation to achieve common goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Augustin. And let's talk more about the cooperation between the government and the public companies in creating a greener and better future. So here comes the most exciting and expecting moment of today's event, because we are going to discuss to what extent Sweden is the global leader of green innovation. So the first question goes to Mr. Pazan of SCA, because some of you may know SCA is the biggest private forest owner in Europe, right? And how can wood or timber contribute to creating a green buildings?
Yes, the picture you see above here is part of our forest land in northern half of Sweden. We have an area which is the same size as the Guangdong province, so we are a big forest owner. And this forest is a fantastic machine. With the help of the sun and the photosynthesis, water and nutrients from the ground, the trees absorb carbon dioxide. So it's a fixation of one of the biggest emission problems that we have. And today, after we log the trees and cut into timber, products like this, can you hold it there? Which you can build into a house, then you can fix carbon dioxide as long as the house stays there, of course. So we believe we have an important solution that we would like to promote here in Hong Kong. Build more in wood and save emissions.
Thank you very much. But sometimes, from my personal point of view, some people may say that it's quite difficult to strike a balance between timbering or lumbering industry and the environment, because it seems that they both of them are enemies. And what do you think about this?
Well, we are growing trees, and when we cut one tree, we plant back at least 2 new ones. So it is a sustainable activity that we deal with. And my company is now 100 years old in this operation, so we have experienced how to grow forest. And our forest area is increasing every year.
Thank you very much. And let's talk to Mr. Ahonen of Greencarrier, because some people said that transportation sector is the major emitter of global greenhouse gas emission. And being a large logistics company, and how does Greencarrier work to reduce the carbon footprint?
Hello, hi. So yeah, you're right. The transportation sector has a big responsibility. It's estimated that 15 to 20% of global emissions is from the transportation sector. And I think the sector is taking responsibility by driving innovation, making sure that there's greener vessels, there's innovation in terms of trucks, cleaner engines, and there's also regulations in the industry to make sure that you shift to cleaner energy. Since our name is Greencarrier, we take the sustainability and environment quite seriously, and what we do within Greencarrier, we divide into 3 parts. What we do internally, and internally is making sure that we have policies in place within Greencarrier so we can actually do better as a company. And it's everything from travel policy. Way before COVID-19 hit us, we had a policy that we should avoid traveling and make sure that we focus on conference calls, for instance. We have a concept called Green Office in all our offices throughout Greencarrier, where we measure all our resources, and then we try to take actions to reduce these resources. But the most important thing is that we try to create awareness among the colleagues to make sure that they understand emissions, environment, sustainability. So we have an internal training which is mandatory for all employees to take. The second one is that we work very closely with our suppliers and partners to find green alternatives and also make sure that we set targets to reduce emissions together. The last one is that we focus on our customers to offer green solutions. And one of the key things that we offer to our customers is actually also education, educating our customers about alternatives. We offer emission reporting to all our customers free of charge. Based on this emission reporting, they can understand how much their own transports generate. And based on this, they can take conscious actions, for instance, compensating their emissions, or they can set a plan for the future to reduce their emissions. And that's where we also come into play to offer alternatives, how they can actually manage their transport in a more sustainable and greener way.
Thank you very much. And let's talk about the electronics or some home appliance with Mr. Humbali of Electrolux. Because we know that Electrolux is a leading home appliance company. And how do you think that the home appliance industry can contribute to a greener future globally?
I believe that Electrolux and other industry leaders in the appliance industry have a very unique opportunity to change people's lives and how they interact with appliances in a more sustainable way. In Electrolux, we see this being done in two different ways. First, we need to look within our company. We need to take the responsibility and really do what is needed. Secondly, we need to look outside our company. We need to reach over to the rest of the industry leaders and try to cooperate and learn from each other. So we are doing this by setting up a program that we call For the Better 2030. This is basically a roadmap that we have for a sustainable future. This roadmap is based on three different pillars. The first one being a better company. A better company for us is where we commit ourselves to be climate neutral in our internal production by 2030 and completely climate neutral throughout the whole value chain by 2050. Secondly, it's better solutions. We commit to continue being an industry leader when it comes to developing solutions for improving the energy and water efficiency of our products. And lastly, better living. We commit to our customers that by using our products, they can live a more sustainable life. And we are doing that, for example, by making sure that if we change the way that we are keeping food at home, we are able to reduce the waste of food. We can ensure that our customers can use their clothes much longer than they can today by changing the way that they wash and dry their clothes. But this is only focusing on what we do in our company. And as I said, I think it's very important to also reach out to other industries and understand what are they doing, what is working and what is not, and try to share our experiences so we can have a greener future together.
Yeah, it's very essential to have a close cooperation with all the stakeholders within the company or within the industry, right? Okay, the next question goes to Mr. Chen, who is sitting next to me. Because we know that ANVAC is a market leader of waste management, and we can see those advanced devices in the booths. And what role does waste management play in creating a greener and better future?
Thank you. When we talk about waste management, I think people can easily recall a lot of nasty pictures, including maybe
Rubbish bins.
Yes, rubbish bin, and smelly and dirty refuse rooms, workers with heavy workload, and also when they transport the bins from here to there, it always creates a lot of noise, and it can be also very time consuming. This kind of refuse collection method can create a lot of annoyance to the inhabitants living around. So in order to eliminate this kind of problems, actually we need to consider a smart waste management system. Besides the problems that I have just mentioned, there are also some problems behind. It's about pollution. Because with this kind of traditional collection method, people are not encouraged in any way to reuse or recycle the waste. So in the end, the pollution will become worse than before. So with this smart waste management system, it can eliminate the annoyance that we just mentioned, and also it can encourage people to reuse and recycle waste. With this system, it can be operated 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. So it can be used anytime. And it can transmit the refuse from one location to the collection station through 2 kilometers. And the waste can be transported very fast at a speed at 70 kilometers per hour. So if you compare this kind of data with the traditional collection method, you can see that this system is very efficient, and also it is labor-free. So with this kind of system, actually we can improve our living environment to become more green, tidy, and efficient, and make it comfortable for everyone. Actually, this kind of system is not something imaginative. Actually, we have done a few of this kind of system in Hong Kong, including the Tenma headquartered government building and also Science Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm expecting such kind of system near my home as well. Wow. Okay, the next question goes to Ms. Brice of Poland, the only lady panelist on the stage. And Poland is the world-leading design company on flooring and spaces. You may wish to take a look at the design of the carpet at the booth. Yeah. And so how do you work with green innovation at Poland?
So for those that don't know, what we do is a woven flooring, entirely made in Sweden. And actually our sustainability goes back to 1949. From the beginning, from the start, we were sustainability focused because our company started when our founder walked past some nylon and cotton waste lying next to a factory, and he went, hey, they're throwing something away and we should be doing something with this. And so started Bolon. So we actually started from a sustainability and recycling background. And that was sustainability mindset has stayed with us to this day, and it's something that we don't compromise on. So part of that focus, and we're very similar to Electrolux, is we have a promise that we've made that by 2025 we will be 50% fully recycled in all of our products. But we actually invested about, I think it was 50 million kroner in our own in-house recycling plant. So we're at the point now where all of our products have minimum 20% recycled material inside. And our recycling facility was so good at what they do, we ran out of waste. Similarly, so our sustainability practices are now reaching outside of our business. So we're at the point now where we're purchasing waste from other suppliers and manufacturers to use and make our own flooring. So yeah, we really go all the way. The other thing that we do is we also don't just think about our products and where it's going, but we also think about the people installing it. we have workers who are using chemicals, glues, adhesives to install. So we have invented our own products like no glue and some of our stickers for installation to also ensure the safety and the health of the workers that work with our flooring. But sustainability has always been part of our business, and we won't stop. It's part of our identity.
Yeah, I just talked to Michelle and saying that Scandinavia is famous of artistic design, and so design and art cannot be compromised with the environment. Yeah, both of them can be coexistent, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because we still have some 20 minutes, so I would like to have some follow-up questions on each guest wheel. Mr. Passon, it's your turn again. Because we would know that wood is widely used in Europe because of the weather is quite dry indeed. But in Hong Kong, you know the weather is still very hot. Now it's October, but we have 20-something degrees Celsius and also very humid. And so, is it possible for using wood in Hong Kong as a commonly used building material? What's your opinion about this?
First of all, the weather in Europe can also be pretty bad.
Oh, really?
Right now
Because
it's
of snowing.
raining and cold where I live. My house, which is in this area, is built 100 years ago, 100% in wood. And it's still staying there. I paint it every 30 years, and I'm sure it will stand another 100 years. If we then move to Hong Kong, we have to apply the same. We need to use a good paint or an oil. And I would recommend you to take a walk along the water promenade in the direction of Wan Chai. And there you will see one of our products, a sculpture in Swedish wood. It has a nice dark brown oil. So we have a real example. And that product has stand the 2 typhoons that we just experienced here without any problem.
Yeah, the most important thing is we need to source some wood in very good quality and also the wood planed to preserve it, right?
Yes, exactly. Like any material, if you use steel, you need to paint it. If you use any material, it needs maintenance. And that goes for wood as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. And so, Mr. Ahanan of Greencarrier, you just mentioned that you need to educate or you need to cooperate with some stakeholders or competitors or your clients on the greener measures you are going to adopting. And so, is it quite difficult or quite uphill to persuade them to adopt your green solutions, or you find that, oh, they are quite forthcoming indeed?
No, it's not that difficult actually. I mean, if we look at our partners and suppliers, for instance, they see what we are doing in the field of trying to create green solutions. And we actually work very, very close with our suppliers and partners. We put a lot of requirements on them, and we work together with them to find solutions, how we can become greener and reduce emissions. But in the end of the day, actually being sustainable and environmental friendly is actually reducing resources. So reducing resources, actually you reduce cost. So it's actually a no-brainer for most companies that, well, you want to save cost to apply this and convince other companies to do it. It's quite easy actually.
Yeah, and also I did a homework last night and I surfed on the website of Greencarrier. I've read a concept, it's called short sea shipping. I just talked to you before, and also it's quite interesting because it's just like some sea voyage, but the concept is just like some green road without traffic jam and also almost no maintenance fee, right? Would you elaborate more about this, and can it be adopted in, say, South China Sea or Asia?
Well, the short sea solutions that we promote is very much specific to Europe at this point in time, because in Europe, when you transport cargo, it's very much based on trucking across Europe. If you're transporting something from Spain up to Sweden, for instance, it's based on trucks. But what we are trying to do is that we try to convince customers to shift into short sea solutions. Short sea solution is a better and greener solution in that sense. Applying it into Asia, so it's more trickier because you don't really transport that much between countries in Asia by trucks. But we are doing short sea solutions, for instance, from mainland China into Hong Kong. There's also the trucking solutions, but focusing on short sea solutions by feeder vessels into Hong Kong is a solution that we do look into and focus on.
Yeah, maybe we will take some time to look at this concept and see if it's applicable worldwide. And okay, it's time to ask Mr. Humbali of Electrolux, because we know that there is a life cycle for all the home appliance. And so is there any limitation for producing such kind of green home appliance? And what kind of products, or what's the direction in the future?
That's a very good question. I think let's start by saying we don't know what the limitations will be in the future, because we don't know what technology we will use to solve these issues. It's clear that today we do have limitations on how green a product can be. And I'll give you an example of that. Last year, Electrolux developed a prototype of a vacuum cleaner that was produced by 100% recycled material. And that is a great step at the right direction. But to really untap the full potential of a product like that, we need to ensure that we have infrastructure taking care of this, just like you were saying earlier. How do we make sure that at the end of the life cycle of this product, this is going back into a circular system? So we see infrastructural limitations. Another way of looking at things is to try to understand the source of the energy that our appliances are using. For example, if you imagine our vacuum cleaner that is made of 100% recycled material, you can question how green is this product if the electricity that is using is coming from a coal-fired power plant. So that is the type of questions that we try to answer inside Electrolux and with the rest of the industry. And we are trying to improve that for the future.
Yeah. And one of the most important things is the habit of the consumer as well. If they are not following the instructions.
No, of course. In everything that we do, we try to prolong the life cycle of our products. That's in our DNA, if you want. And, you know, we are doing that by, of course, we need to inform our customer how to properly use the products. That's very important.
Yeah, there are so many stakeholders in the green cycle indeed. So, Mr. Chan of NWAC, and what do you think about the next green innovation for waste management besides the advanced device you're reinventing? And so, what's the next step?
Actually, it can be have two aspects. One is about kitchen waste collection. In Hong Kong, actually, kitchen waste constitute approximately 1/3 of the daily refuse disposal in Hong Kong. So if we can properly collect and dispose the kitchen waste, for sure it can help to improve our environment very much. So a smart waste collection system may be one of the solutions, such that the tenants or the residents can be encouraged to collect, recycle the kitchen waste in a more easy and convenient way. The next aspect in the future, we believe that in the end, there will be one even smarter system. It can sort all the wastes by itself automatically,
Wow.
without involvement of any humankind. But it is something still imaginative at this stage, because based on the current technology, I think we still face a lot of technical difficulties. But I hope in the future, it will come up and help us to sort and recycle our waste in the future.
Yes, because sometimes when you hold a bottle, You cannot differentiate if it's a plastic one or it's a recycled plastic, blah, blah, blah. And so it's very good if we have some automatically differentiating machine. And also we met Secretary Wong just a minute ago, and he is proposing kind of solid disposal fee. It may be ineffective, maybe a year or two. And do you think there is also a way out for solving some kind of disposal problem or creating a greener future?
Yes, affirmative. Because I think everyone in Hong Kong has a very good experience about the charging about plastic bags.
Yes.
The government charge you only 50 cents for one bag. Although it is talking a very small money, but it can help everyone to stop thinking about take one more plastic bag. So apply the same theory. We believe that if this municipal solid waste charging system implemented a year or more than 1 year later, I think people in Hong Kong will think before they dump anything. So it is a good way to help everyone to consider about recycle and reuse the waste.
Yeah, right now I bring along my own recycle bag when I go to supermarket to buy every stuff. Even though I haven't got a recycle bag, I just hold everything in my hands. Yeah, that's also the way out. Okay, maybe last question to Ms. Brits of Poland. Because you usually say that plastic is often seen as an environmental unfriendly material. And what would you say about the future of plastic? Can it be part of green solution for the future?
I think the question really is what kind of plastic?
Indeed.
Because there are different kinds of plastic, and obviously there's been a lot of conversation recently about plastics and their effects on the environment. So to clarify, the kind of plastics that people are most worried about are the single-use plastics and the things that end up in the ocean and straws and those kinds of things. The kind of plastic or PVC that we use is called construction plastic. So it's the kind of thing you have in your car. It makes your car lighter, which means your car uses less fuel, thereby contributing to the environment. It also means that it's a lot stronger. So we make sure that we use the best and the cleanest PVC that we can find so that our product will last as long as possible, so that it doesn't turn into a single-use product. So that's why we guarantee 10 to 15 years on our products. It's going to last you a long time.
Yeah, but some people may think that they put the two concepts together, environmental friendly and expensive. You know that we need some cost to clean, to wash the old plastics, and so can the cost be lowered in the future? Is it our expectation, or it will be true in the future if it's commonly used?
I think it can be. I think it's just like any other new thing. There's a wall we have to get over, and everyone has to get used to it. Yeah. But definitely in future, I think we will get there.
And in the age with our advanced technology as well, and it's our future hope as well. And thank you very much for joining this panel discussion and sharing your insightful views on the topic. And I must say that I'm impressed by the work of the Swedish government and also the private companies who are doing their best to create a greener future. And also Sweden is truly a global leader of green innovation. Thank you very much for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you all next time. 多謝支持，後會有期，拜拜。